So unfortunately, stress and anxiety is a big part of being a music producer or a DJ. You got thoughts of, am I going to make it? Am I ever going to finish that damn track? And countless other thoughts that come running through your head. And so I think it's important to have a way to be able to combat that, and a really fast way to be able to combat that. And so I do have a way, and it's one that I use a lot, and I call it the 10 by 10 breath. And I'm going to show you what it is, and then I'll talk about why it helps, and then just the importance of doing it in your routine. Okay, so the 10 by 10 breath is 10 breaths at 10-second intervals. So to break it down, you do 10 full breaths, and then during that breath cycle, it should last 10 seconds. So if we break that down even further, your inhale should last 5 seconds, and your exhale should last 5 seconds. You do 10 of those, and you would be really surprised on how well that works to help tame down your nerves, any sort of anxiety, stress. I do it all the time. So let's walk through it step by step. So if we're gonna work on this, now I'm standing, but ideally you should probably do this in a seated position just because it's a little more relaxing. So if you're standing, if you're sitting, just take a seat, preferably a chair that has a backrest, just relax. And then what you would do is you take an inhale, so you'd inhale, and you want that inhale to last 5 seconds. So you would inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back to the inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you repeat like that, and you do 10 breaths like that, doing the 5-second inhale and the 5-second exhale. And if you do that 10 times, I would be very surprised if you didn't at least feel a little bit more relaxed, a little more calm, maybe your anxiety dips down. All right, so why does this work? So when you focus on breathing, you are taking your mind off of literally everything else. So any sort of deadline you have to make, any sort of goal that you're trying to get to, any sort of worrying about the future, regretting, past garbage that you decisions that you've made. When you take your mental focus and you focus on something that is present, so something that a lot of people just don't tend to do. We tend to focus a lot of our time on things that have not happened yet or things that have already happened. Rarely do we just take time to just focus on literally what's happening right this very second. So when you work on deep breathing like this, it helps to reorient you. It helps to just keep you in this moment so you're not worrying about all the other crap that's going on. So that's the first thing. The other thing is a little bit more physiological. When you do breathing at this pattern, so when you do breathing at 5 seconds in, like 5 seconds during your inhale and 5 seconds during your exhale, it actually engages your parasympathetic nervous system. Don't worry, it's not that complicated. So your parasympathetic nervous, you have two kind of modes of your nervous system. You have your sympathetic and you have your parasympathetic. Your sympathetic is what ramps you up. It's your fight or flight. So, ancestrally, if that's a word, back in the day, that system was always activated if you ran across like a dinosaur or something that was about to eat you. That nervous system would ramp up, and that would be your fight or flight. You either got to, fight the thing that's in front of you or get the hell out of there. That's what that does. Now your parasympathetic is usually what takes place after you eat. So if you've ever noticed, after you eat like this massive meal, you get really tired and you get really relaxed. Well, that's your parasympathetic nervous system, and otherwise called your rest and digest. And so with stress, your sympathetic nervous system is through the roof. It's like way up here. No matter what your stress is about, it doesn't matter. It's going to trigger that sympathetic nervous system to be way up here, and you don't want it there. You want it down. So by doing this deep breathing, it actually takes your parasympathetic nervous system, so the one that's responsible for rest and digest, and brings it up. And that's what you do want, because it helps tame that anxiety, it tames the nerves, it tames the stress, all that good stuff. Because the thing is that us as humans now, we tend to breathe at a relatively fast rate. So we tend to breathe at a roughly 12 to 20 breaths a minute. But if you can slow that breathing down and you can basically do 5 full breaths a minute, then it calms everything down, which is ultimately what you would want. And it's what I want. I practice this every day. And so what you would do is you would do that ideally for longer than 10 breaths, but if you're pressed for time or you just have this acute period, acute state of anxiety or stress, doing 10 breaths at that 10-second cycles, so 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, just doing that 10 times can make a massive difference. But if you make that part of your practice, part of your just overall fitness, so this would be more like mental or psychological fitness, and if you do that every day for say maybe 5 to 10 minutes, your ability to handle stress when making music is going to be way, way better. It takes time. It's not a quick fix. Now granted, the 10 breaths is technically a quick fix, but for long-standing change, it does take a little bit of time, but I can promise you it's worth it, okay? So I hope this was helpful. Again, just a very quick recap. If you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling anxious with whatever task that you have at hand, do 10 breaths, doing a 5-second inhale and a 5-second exhale. And I would be very surprised if you did not feel any more relaxed. Chances are you will though. Okay, so if you like this video and if you're already watching this far, you might as well give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more amazing content like this, then definitely hit that subscribe button. And until next time, I will see you in the next video.